Hey, Dr. Karen Can here. Welcome to this week's Spiritual Medicine Digest. And our topic for this week is dream shift. So if you are new to my channel, would love for you to hit the subscribe button and perhaps the notification bell so every time I do a new video, you will be notified. And love your comments, so feel free to comment after you've listened to the video and perhaps, even share with us how the TOLPAKAN Healing Activation that we'll be doing later feels in your body and whether you've had any ahas or shifts afterwards. So, our topic, dream shift. Well, this came about because I've noticed for myself, and then others have reflected the same thing, is that sometimes we have dreams that we don't want to tell anybody about because it's embarrassing when they don't come true. Or we think we can't have it because it's too lofty a goal. Heaven on earth, not lofty at all, right? Or perhaps that people would judge us for our dreams. I'll give you an example. Having my own personal outdoor skating rink with fairy lights. They're like, just go to the rink. You know what I mean? So sometimes we have these, critiques going on in our heads about our dreams, and therefore a lot of us have grown up and are completely blank when it comes to our dreams of what it is we desire. We literally have no idea sometimes because we're not connected to our dreams, but yet our dreams and desires are part of our evolution and part of our soul expression. So it is really important to connect to our dreams. Now, for other people, no problem sharing what their dreams are. They're like, I would like this and this and this and this and this and this, right? And that's where I'm at this point. But there was a time where I was really embarrassed to share what it was I really desired, including my ideal skating partner slash husband, because I felt like, well, it was such a, rare phenomenon to find a man who would like to be my partner and my figure skating partner, right? Like, think about the thousands of people who figure skate, not a lot of guys. So, the universe had to be pretty creative there. And some of you know that whole story, but I won't repeat it here. And the neat thing is when we become really true to how it is we feel in the moment and what it is we desire, lots of energies are freed up and the universe starts rearranging itself so that we can experience our desires. So sometimes we need a contrast of what we do not desire in order for us to be like, what is it that we desire? Right? So, for example, when people go, I don't know what I want, I don't know what I want, I don't know what my dreams are, right? But they're going through HE double hockey sticks with their family members at home. They go, well, I have this thing. It's like driving me nuts. Like they're not listening to me. They're gaslighting me. They're putting they're being selfish and narcissistic and da da da, right? So sometimes we have these experiences so that we can go, well, gee, we don't really desire that. We don't like that. So what's the opposite? What's the opposite? And then we can go, wow, I could put words to this. What is the opposite? Okay, I desire to feel empowered. I desire to feel listened to. I desire to feel important to people, that I make a difference, and that that I'm seen and that I'm respected and that I'm honored. But they wouldn't have those words without the contrast, right? So some people might be there in terms of their dreams, or like me at this point in my life, I'm very clear about what it is I desire. And even being clear, things will shift. And that's the dream shift. Sometimes there is a shift of timelines. We talked about timeline jumping, for the last few months, right? So after timeline jumping and that outcome of heaven on earth, if you will, being peaceful, loving, healthy, having great relationships, excuse the dog barking, all these things, sometimes our dream priorities shift. Now, at first, it can be like, oh, am I giving up on my dreams, right? Maybe. Or maybe that's not the dominant energies that's going with the flow in this moment. I'll give you an example, just so it makes sense. So I've had this really long dream, probably 20 years of traveling around the world and experiencing amazing outdoor ice rinks, and especially the kind of outdoor experience where it's native wild ice. Now, wild ice means that it's not a rink, it's literally a lake somewhere in the middle of nowhere. Now, practically speaking, I think some of the people I follow on Instagram that have these amazing wild ice experiences literally pick up the phone. Somebody says, "Hey, great wild ice out here, fly here now." Right? And they get on a private jet and they fly there and they take their little Instagram video and they're sponsored and the whole bit. So I think to myself, I'd love that experience. And I think to myself, do I really want to pick up and just drop everything to go for wild ice for a couple of days? Not really. I have other priorities. You see what I mean? So even though that was a dream to travel and skate all over the world, it used to be a 10 out of 10. I couldn't wait to do it. But now it's like a 6. Not because it wouldn't be cool, but it's not the top of my priority list anymore. Now, it doesn't mean I've given up on it, but other things seem more important to me. And I think the pandemic, all that stuff that happened really shifted some of us into different timelines and also shifted us into a different place of being, of what is important to us. I'm not saying skating on wild ice is not important to me, but I have some experiences locally of doing that. And it may or may not be exactly what it's cracked up to be, and not always an Instagram reel, right? So you may have noticed a shift in your priorities. And here's the interesting and important thing, I believe, which is why Source asked me to talk about that today. We can get kind of stuck a little bit on what we said was our dream. And because it has not manifested yet, we feel almost obligated to that dream to make it manifest so we can say we manifested it. And sometimes we don't allow that flexibility of going, actually, that's cool, but I'm not feeling it right now. There's something of a greater priority right now, and allow that flexibility. Now, that is very different. This requires discernment. This is very different from giving up on your dreams. Okay, giving up on your dreams looks like this. You really desire something, but then it's not coming, and you're like, anytime now, it's not coming. You're having difficulties, challenges, not knowing that the contrast is showing up. So it's in alignment with the dream you asked for, because the contrast shows up so you can heal it, right? Whatever's blocking it, right? So then it gets too hard and too difficult and too challenging, and then you let go of the dream because you go, well, this is too much work. This is too hard. I feel really uncomfortable. And then things like I start to feel like, oh, I'm not good enough, or the world's against me, or I'm not being supported by the universe, or blah, 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 right? All these beliefs come up that you didn't notice before, but you kind of underlying the dream, there were these beliefs that did not come up yet. So that is different. In that case, I would say stay the course, because that's what you desire. And what you desire, you would not have the inkling of desiring it if it were not for your highest and greatest good on some level. Part of your soul expression. Does it mean it's going to be necessarily easy? No, there's a lot of us that dream pretty big dreams, right? And there's a process to get to that place, knowing full well that yes, there's a contrast process, right? There is a leveling up process. There's a letting go process of old things that no longer serve us, humanity, beliefs, patterns, subconscious wiring, all these kinds of things. So I think that if I ask most sensitive souls, how many of you would love to experience heaven on earth? You're either, in your personal sphere of influence or on the entire planet. Almost everybody will be like, yeah, me, right? So that's the bigger dream that probably underlines all of our dreams. And then there's these little things that we prefer and don't prefer, and those things can shift, One last bit about this before we do our activation for today. There are plenty of very lovely, lovely spiritual people that I met over the years that over 20 years have attempted to have, let's just say, a healing business. Okay. However, and they still desire it. They're so passionate about healing. They are great teachers when you get them in a room and they just start talking, right? They just love to teach, love to be that that heal. They can't help it. They're just natural healers. However, they're spending time doing other things that are not aligned with what they prefer and desire. So maybe they are, I don't know, making sandwiches at a sandwich shop. Maybe they're working at the hardware store, right, as the cashier. And there's nothing wrong with these occupations. I'm not saying there's anything lowly or wrong with them. It's just that that's not what they desired, right? So that they're like, yeah, somebody recently said to me, wouldn't it be great if we could all, do this healing professionally? I'm like, well, some of us are, you know. I was like, she's talking about herself, but I was like, yeah. So for those of you that maybe have been a little stuck in that, it's time to move and it's time to grow. It's time to go into stillness and figure out what's your next inspired action. Because the universe doesn't work in the way that we go, oh, dear universe, please give us my beautiful, perfect healing practice and lots of clients. Thank you, thank you. The universe goes, oh, great, you want that? Awesome. Here's the contrast. Heal that, work through that. Very good. Okay, here's the challenge, and here's another challenge, and here's another challenge. So you grow yourself to that place. And sometimes people don't realize there is this whole amazing growth process. They only see you when you're at the pinnacle of, wow, Tony Robbins. Yeah, that's great. You are an amazing coach. Good for you. Well, I could never be like that. Well, Tony also started down here, right? And so he grew, challenges, grew, challenge, grew. That's how it works. So guess what? You either choose your challenge and grow, or the universe will kick you in the butt, and they're done that, right? And will give the challenge to you, which you may not prefer. So if you have a dream that you really, really in your heart of hearts, desire, even today, I would say stay the course. If you had a dream you really, 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 really desired previously, you feel into it now, you're not feeling it, let it shift. As long as you're doing the work, as long as you are growing, you will get told, if you will, by the universe, by your intuition, by your higher self, what is the next step for you. So let's do a TOLPAKAN Healing Activation. If you would like to receive, just make the intention to receive, just to help you with this process and aligning your energies with your soul desires, your human desires, and harmonizing all that. So you ready? All right, so if it's safe for you to do so, close your eyes. You can rub your hands, get some movement and chi and energy flowing. You can stamp your feet, shrug your shoulders, anything at all to get movement going, and then relax your hands, relax your body. Close your eyes, focus on the inside of your body. Feel any energy moving in your body, wherever it is, and focus on that flow, following it wherever it goes. Just continue following that flow. Follow that flow. Continue observing it while I speak out the TOLPAKAN Healing Activation with intention, and you can intend to receive. Here we go. I now command that our soul energies and our soul desires be fully aligned and harmonized with our human desires. These be in grace in the highest and best way. In all timelines where we're human and where we exist, we're allowed. Is now commanded that anything preventing us from being fully empowered in being clear about our dreams, knowing our dreams, allowing our dreams to come forth, and also shifting our dreams when appropriate, be healed and resolved in the highest and best way, all directions of time, with speed, ease, and grace. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Go ahead and take a deep breath in and out and solidify that in place and anchor that in. Lovely. Whew. I don't know about you, but I felt some stuff moving around. So go ahead and post in the comments below what that was like for you, how that experience was for you. And, feel free to join the community if you have not already, KarenKan.com/community, where we can continue the conversation. And every month we have mini healings, also a lot of freebies in there as well. And speaking of freebies, let's go to some of the announcements for this week. Number one, we'll start with Light Warrior Radio. So every week on Monday at 12 noon, we launch the latest podcast that we have for you. And I got a really, really great, it was super fun actually, to talk with my friend Heidi Connolly about her newest book that's called Playing with Your Higher Self, Psychic Games to Develop Your Intuitive Muscle. And her book looks like a little cartoon book. I mean, if you look at the cover and the colors and everything, it looks so fun, and it is fun. So we had a great time talking about these little simple games that we can play with, another person or just with ourselves, just to gently and easily and with humor and fun to hone our intuitive capabilities. So that was really, really neat. Check out her book. We'll put the link below. It just launched recently. And by the way, if you're listening to this in April and early May of 2024, Heidi actually has a special gift for our listeners. There is on, let me see here, May 23rd, 2024 from 3 to 5:30 p.m. It's 50% off. And this is an event that goes with this concept. So playing with your higher self, psychic games. So she's going to go over some of them live and have you practice. It's going to be super, super fun. So check that out. That is a very, very nice price for our people. I'll also put the link to the radio show below. So some other really cool things coming up and replays. So number one, I want to let you know that Cracking the Illness Code Ticks, Toxins, and Mold Summit. So a lot of different speakers in that summit, everything from, the biological to where I'm at, the spiritual, energetic, and everything in between. So if you have a chronic illness, if you've been interested in learning more about mold and other things that are going on, for me, I'm talking about sensitive souls and how that all relates. So we'll put the link below. You can join the summit for free and listen to all those amazing presentations. Also, we have our monthly little promo for the Health Freedom Tribe. So this is a group of people in the light medicine community. It's a gated part of the community called the Health Freedom Tribe. So if you're interested in supporting each other with health freedom and special guests every month that come in with a small group doing some teaching, Q&A, we talk about everything that apparently you can't talk about publicly, at least on social media. And this coming Wednesday, we have a special guest for this month is Trisha Schmalhofer, who's going to talk about fascia and the Akashic records. Ooh, sounds pretty interesting, right? Fascia, so I'm all about fascia and water. And then the Akashic records. So how do we access our Akashic records through our fascia? If you want to know, you may want to join the Health Freedom Tribe because these guest appearances are absolutely free for you. And every week we meet at 12 noon Eastern Wednesdays just to chat with each other, do our marvelous manifestation meditation based on your desires and your ideas. So lots of great connection there. The other thing I want to share with you is there is a replay now available for the deep dive into advanced dowsing for healing, which was a co-presentation with the American Society of Dowsers. I'm going to be presenting the keynote speech at that 64th convention, as well as doing a Sunday all-day workshop on TOLPAKAN healing. So if you're interested, check out the free, I think it's about 90 minutes, 100 minutes, something like that, workshop where we kind of do a dive into specific TOLPAKAN healing protocols, examples, mini healings, so you can see how TOLPAKAN healing works at that deeper level. This was actually originally presented to their crew and ours. And if you're already into dowsing, muscle testing, penduluming, then this is a great sneak peek, into TOLPAKAN level 1, because we actually reveal some of our specific protocols for this class. So I think you'll have a lot of fun. We're going to put the replay right in the Light Medicine community in the Holistic Health Roadmap. I'll link that below. If you're not part of the community, you can't get into that space. So definitely become a free member of the community, and then you can sign up for that mini course, Holistic Health Roadmap, and you will see that presentation there. Also, as an offering to all people who are phototherapy fans, Dr. Dennis Lobstein and I are going to do our monthly Ask the Doctors event on Zoom, where we talk about acupuncture, Chinese medicine, acupuncture points, and how to use phototherapy and other wellness tools to help elevate your body's own ability to heal itself. So if you're into that kind of stuff, join us live on Zoom on Monday, and that is at 2 p.m. Eastern. And you can sign up and even put in your questions ahead of time and have a chance of getting those answered individually and customized for you. So I think that's it for this week. Well, lots of nice announcements this week. Thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to chatting with you next week. Remember to hit the subscribe button. Also, the comments, let me know what the activation was like and whether you had any ahas. We'll see you soon. Bye for now.